Joining us now, comedian Tom Green is on the line. Norm was a frequent guest on Tom's talk show and a friend of his. Tom, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's such a sad day for comedy and for everybody who loves comedy, and just wanted to send my condolences and sympathies to Norm's family and friends and all of his fans here in Ottawa and around the world. As you mentioned, he was from Ottawa. He went to Gloucester High School, as you mentioned. I always considered him an Ottawa boy there, eh? And, when I was a kid, I started doing stand-up comedy myself in Ottawa at Yuck Yucks, and that was before Norm had made his big, had his big break, and was before he was on SNL. And I was probably 15 years old, going down to the basement of the Beacon Arms Hotel where Yuck Yucks was at the time on Albert Street. And Norm was probably in his mid-20s, and he was unlike anybody I'd ever seen on stage. A different kind of comedy than I'd ever seen on television or anywhere. Just the acerbic, sarcastic, surprising delivery, and you mentioned his deadpan voice and delivery was something that was very new, and it made me very inspired as a kid because I knew he was from Ottawa, and here he was up on stage being funnier than anybody I'd ever seen on TV. And shortly after those first years of starting stand-up, we heard that Norm had moved to Los Angeles. He was writing for the Roseanne show. And it just was amazing to think that somebody who was doing stand-up at Yuck Yucks only a year earlier was now living in Hollywood. And then Saturday Night Live and his incredible career afterwards was something that was just so inspiring to me as a kid in Ottawa who wanted to do stand-up. And it made me so happy when I eventually did move down to Los Angeles myself and was doing my show that Norm was very generous with his time. I don't know if it was because I was from Ottawa and I grew up on Monson Crescent just down the road from Jasper where he grew up, and we sort of would have a laugh about that. But he would come to my show, and when I was doing my internet talk show in my living room in the early 2000s, and we would just sit up there on air and stream before web streaming was a thing and have laughs like you wouldn't believe.
What was he like as a guest, Tom? What was it like to have him on the show?
Well, he was just, the thing about Norm is he's just such a brilliant guy, too. And he would find ways to talk about subjects that you wouldn't normally find yourself talking about. And then he would find comedy in them in places that you would never expect. And his just delivery was just, of course, incredible. His whole way about him was very unique and just hilarious. And for me, I was like I said, I was so in awe of him that it made for an interesting show because I was just so excited that he was coming up to my house, and he would come up time and time again. And I remember we would do the shows, and on the shows we would go live and we would take calls on the internet from people, and he would just always catch people off guard with really irreverent and ridiculous comebacks and jokes. But then after the show would end, this happened every time the show would end, and I was in my house at the time was in the Hollywood Hills, looking over the city of Los Angeles, and the show would end around midnight, and then Norm would want to stay, and we would end up going and sitting in my office. And at the time, YouTube was kind of a new thing, and we would just sit there late into the night watching comedy on YouTube, watching old Chris Farley bits or old Saturday Night Live pieces or interesting, hilarious viral videos that we'd found, and we'd just sit up and
he just wanted to hang out, Tom.
Yeah, it really did feel like that, and that was the thing that always made me feel so great when I did that show was we tried to have people just come and hang out, but and I would invite up people that I loved and was respected and wanted to get to know in comedy, but it was always made me feel so nice that Norm would sort of stay there after every time, and we got to know each other really well, and it's such a sad day, for me personally. I just found out about this when everyone else did, You know, he really did keep this quiet. I did not know that he was battling cancer. As a cancer survivor myself, I know how complex and stressful that can be. It makes me it surprises me that and I wish in some ways that he'd reached out to me and talked to about it, because I could have been there for him as a cancer survivor. But I think it's probably I'd like to think that he must have felt there was some element of surprise. He always felt that it was good to have an element of surprise in a joke. That a good joke, a great joke, has to surprise you, and that was his style on stage. And it seems to be that might be maybe his final point was to catch us all off guard one last time, a showman to the end. Rest in peace.
Tom, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing these wonderful stories. It's such a fitting, lovely tribute to somebody who meant so much clearly to you and to so many listeners. A comedy legend. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you very much. Rest in peace, Norm Macdonald, and thanks for calling. Appreciate it.
You take care, Tom Green. Comedian Tom Green calling into the show. Knew Norm Macdonald. Spent some time with him as a friend, as somebody that he worked with, because, as he said, Norm would come on his talk show. And they got to know each other that way. Both of them also with that Canadian connection.
You say I don't listen. I tell you I try. And we both got our own problems. But
So I said, I can think of something. I can handle it, you know. Because for like Letterman or somebody like that, it's real hard. You have to be really on the top of your game, as you know.
Right, yeah.
Because he's real funny. But The View, it's not that tough, you know, to keep up with.
Right, sure.
Star Jones or whatever, whoever they are. So
Barbara Walters there, though.
Yeah,
she's tough to keep up with, right? I don't know what that means.
So I'm like, I'll be fine. That's what I kept telling the guy. So the guy's like, but that's their job, you know. So this guy would always have ideas. He would phone me with ideas. He'd go,
This goes on for weeks before the appearance, right?
Weeks.
It's almost like it becomes like work.
It is. Talking to that guy is harder than talking to the host, you know?
Yeah.
And he's excited, and it's his job, so I don't want to. So he'd be like, what if he came out in a red wig? I'm like, what the fuck? Why would I do that, right? He's like, the gals have been teasing Barbara about, you know, tinging her hair. I'm like, no, but then it'll look like my idea, and then I got a red wig on, and, you know.
Right,
I have
yeah.
to take
You
it
don't
off.
want to take part in their silliness.
Just over and over, you know, every time. And he goes, well, do you have anything? I go, no, I can't think, but I'll think of something, you know. So he says, anyways, one of the ones he phones me, he goes, I'll tell you what you do, man. He goes, you come out. He goes, you're talking to the gals, and all of a sudden, your cell phone rings, right? He goes, it's in the middle of the show. Like, he's really excited, right? He goes, you answer the cell phone. You go, excuse me, ladies. He goes, we're not going to tell them about it. And the cell phone rings. He goes, excuse me, ladies. It's your agent, Morty. You know, he had this name.
Right. Yeah.
He goes, so you're like, Morty, you can't call me here. I'm on The View. You know, I'm on TV.
Right.
What do you mean you have an offer for me? You know, and I had this crazy Jewish accent in the story. You know, what do you mean? I can't do it. I'm on The View. So I'm like, yeah. I didn't want to, you know, you don't want to hurt people's feelings, you know. So I'm like, no, that one's, yeah, it sounds pretty good, but maybe I'll think of something else, you know.
Right.
He was so excited.
Yeah.
So anyways. This is getting to be a long story.
No, it's fine. You know, we can actually stay on the air as long as we want.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I get that. So anyways, I'm really late, right? Because I had a big hand at this poker game.
Right.
So
you show up right before you gotta go on the air.
Show up. You know, so I'm going. I go. I got the story about Bill Cosby. I'll do that. I know how to do that story. I did it before on Letterman, and it'll be fine. So I go in. And I tell the guy, listen, man, I do this story about Letterman. So I walk out, you know. Now, unbeknownst to me, as I was walking out, this guy had muttered something. I hadn't slept for like 3 days, and it's just the phone call, you know. So I go, oh, yeah. You know. I didn't know what he was talking about, but he had slipped like a cell phone. He put a cell phone in my pocket.
Oh.
You know? So anyways, I got out there, and then...
He'd slipped a cell phone in your pocket.
Yeah, thinking I was in for this
okay.
gag, right?
And it's all set to ring.
I forgot.
You forgot about it.
I forgot about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
and all hell breaks loose.
Now, so
obviously.
I go out to the, so I go to the View, and those 4 bags are sitting there. You know?
Oh, come on.
So, no, ladies,
Yeah.
women, you know.
Yeah.
It's not politically correct to say bag.
No.
But
Was
you know,
Rosie
you got
wasn't
Michael
there.
Richards is saying the N word. I
Yeah.
can't say the B word.
No, you can say that, absolutely.
I want to talk later about now they have the F word for fag, which is really strange.
Yeah.
But
The guy from Grey's Anatomy got in trouble for
yeah,
saying
the N guy, the N word guy.
the F word.
No, but he was an N word guy, wasn't he?
I can't remember.
That was the irony.
Everybody's.
No, he was African American.
Everybody's going nuts out
He
there.
was African American.
Yeah. Said the F word. He said
It'd be
the F
funny if
word.
you were an African American. You know, if you were a racist, you would not say African American. Maybe you'd say the A word,
What's the A word?
the African American.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But so I go on the
Okay, yeah.
View.
Yeah.
So this is what had happened to me a month previously. This was whenever the first election was, the Bush
Right.
Bush against
Gore.
Al Gore.
Yeah.
The first time, right? I know nothing about politics,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and so. But
This
what
is
happened-
right after the election?
This is before the election.
Okay.
Before the first election. So, what happened was I got a call from this guy, Ben Stein. You know that guy?
Sure, yeah. Yeah.
So he said, how'd you like to meet George Bush? He's running for president. You know. So I go, holy fuck, that would be cool. You know, meet a guy running for president. Maybe later he'll become president, and I'll be his buddy because this is how naive I was. Because I knew him like 2 months before he became president.
Right.
So in Hollywood, you know, obviously very liberal, right? So so Gore showed up, and it was like Barbara Streisand and every giant star in Hollywood, right? So when Bush plane came down, literally it was me and Ben Stein. We were the celebrities.
Right.
So it was really lame. And then when George Bush came out with his wife, he said to her, "See, I told you he'd come," about me.
Right.
They were expecting maybe it would just be Ben Stein. They were really happy that 2 celebrities showed
Right,
up.
sure.
You know, and real peripheral celebrities. So, but it was cool because everyone hates George Bush and stuff. So I got to go on his airplane and talk to him. I talked to the guy for an hour. And
Got to
stuff.
hang out with him.
Yeah. So it was really cool. You know, I don't know anything about politics, but it's cool to meet the guy that's might be the president. You know?
Yeah.
So, anyways,
What did you talk to Bush about on his plane?
I talked to him about, well, I don't know shit about politics, but he didn't know much either.
He hadn't really been elected yet.
No, he hadn't been elected and everything, and I told him some jokes, and he sometimes he'd go like, "There's mics or something like that."
Yeah.
It's not a very interesting story.
Right. That's cool.
But
No.
see, it's a many.
This
layered,
guy's been just sitting here
I know,
listening to
I
the
know.
whole story.
That's why I
we
said
haven't
it's a
even
long
introduced
story.
ourselves to him yet. What's your name?
My name's Dagan.
Where are you?
I'm just outside Montreal.
Montreal.
Algonquin.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay, so you're about to walk out.
Yeah, so I go on The View, right?
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to I said, I'll talk about the Bill Cosby story, you know? So, anyways, the lady from The View goes, take a look at this picture. And show a picture of me standing beside presidential nominee George Bush. And then they're like,
You're on The
"What?"
View now.
Yeah, I'm on The View. And they're like, what's going on here? That's what the lady says to me, one of the ladies, right? Like it was a fucking
Which
picture
was it? Star
of,
Jones, Meredith Vieira.
Who's the fat black one?
Well, Star Jones left the show though. She's
There was
not
a
on there.
fat African American.
Star
lady.
Jones, I think. Yeah.
that was the
She
lady.
lost a lot of weight later too.
Yeah,
apparently.
yeah.
It was big. There was a big brouhaha over there.
Was there?
Yeah, but yeah. So she asked you that.
So she's like, "What's going on here?" Right? And it's just a picture of me with a guy running for the president. But the way they said it, it was like that picture of Kurt Waldheim with Hitler in the fucking woods, right? I'm like, I don't know. Like, what's wrong with this, right? So just to be crazy, kind of like, and just because they kind of got under my skin, I don't know nothing about politics and nothing. I said, well, it's better than that guy that's in there now. That guy murdered a guy, Bill Clinton, right?
Right.
And then they're like, what? And I go, they go, what? So I go, he murdered a guy. Remember, some guy killed him because I remember somebody died.
Right, sure, yeah. Someone who had
suicide
committed
or something.
suicide. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And I heard a crazy conspiracy thing that they killed him.
So you just start, yeah.
I'm like, he killed. Don't you remember that? You know, but I'm acting like everybody knows it. Like I'm just acting like a retard. And then Barbara Walter goes, "You're walking a pretty thin line, Mister." And I'm like, I thought it was a matter of public record. Barbara, you're a newswoman. Back me up, you know. It kept going on, and it was like, fucking, you know. And I remember she kept going like, "You're one piece of work, Mister." Like getting really.
Really,
like,
really
crazy,
taking
man.
you seriously. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Not remembering
that
you know,
I'm a comedian
the
that
jokes
doesn't know
on
shit,
Weekend Update were.
So I just did it to be like stupid, and then so there's just like, you know, the audience like confused, you know.
And then it's about to go down. We're here to stay and run this town. Bring in the heat, bring in the energy. We're the queens of the festival, can't you see? We're the queens of the festival, here to rule the stage. Dropping beats and make your body engage. From sunrise to sunset, we're taking it all. We're the festival queens standing tall. Ooh, yeah, ooh. From dawn till dusk, we command the crowd's gaze. Every beat, every rhyme sets our souls ablaze. With swagger and style, we own this domain. In the realm of music, we reign supreme, no chain. Feel the rhythm pulsating through your veins. Our verses ignite, fire never wane. With each lyric we spit, each move we make, we carve our legacy, leaving jaws to quake. We're the queens of the festival, here to rule the stage. Dropping beats and make your body engage. From sunrise to sunset, we're taking it all. Festival queen standing tall. Ooh, I get it. Ooh. No crown needed, ours the crown jewel in the kingdom of sound. We never play the fool with beats as our scepters and rhymes as our decree. We're the sovereigns of rhythm for all to see. So bow down to the queens as we own the night. In the kingdom of music, we're the guiding light. From the first note to the last, we'll always be the festival queens, forever wild and free.
And the ladies are all angry. All of a sudden, I hear like coming out of the thing, like cling, ding, like it's a fucking fire alarm or something. What the fuck is that? And then I remember it's my phone, you know, my cell phone, this joke.
Oh, yeah.
The producer backstage saw that everything was going to hell and decided to fix it, you know. So like, I go, oh, yeah, I go, Morty, man, this is a bad time to call because all the ladies hate me now and stuff like that, you know. And Barbara Walters goes, what the hell are you doing? Like, she's just...
Right.
I go, nah, I know I'm a little scared. I go, I don't know. The guy backstage, he told me that it would be funny if I pretended my Agent Morty called. And then there was like about 5 seconds of silence. And Barbara Walters said, we'll be right back. And then she gave me the boot.
That is on YouTube right now? That's on YouTube right now, apparently, Bill. Yeah. Have you queued it up? No, I don't have it yet. Oh, you don't have it? We should try to find that. Oh, my, that's uncomfortable, huh? Have you been asked back?
No.
No?
I thought it was fun.
Oh, yeah, no, that's awesome. You love those uncomfortable moments, though, right?
I like it, yeah. Like with stand-up, if I bomb, I really, really like that.
Yeah?
Yeah. Do you ever get like that?
Oh, yeah, all the time, every night.